is having to walk the family past them, and that's their dad. They feel the same way about him as I do about mine, same way you do about yours. Buddy, I didn't want to do that, dude. I didn't at all. Like, I'm a human too, but if I don't, he's gonna shoot me. You know, that one weighs on you. Hey guys, I'm DJ Shipley, retired Navy SEAL, and today I'm gonna answer questions out of the honesty box. All right, here we go. What made you want to join Special Forces? Big military family growing up. My dad was a SEAL, and basically right when he graduated SEAL, the SEAL pipeline, my mom gave birth to me, so his entire time in the SEAL teams was my childhood all the way through. Back to my earliest memory, the only thing I was ever around were commandos. Every male influence from the time I was a day old until the day I left the house, the only influence I had anywhere was only special operations guys. And I fell in love with the culture. I fell in love with their personalities, just the way they carried themselves, and I really, really wanted to be a part of it.
How old were you when you finally got to join up?
I joined the Navy at 17. I graduated a year early, right as the towers fell, and yeah, never looked back. How fit were you at your peak? A freak. You just were. We were attending a selection course, kind of quarter way through my career, a little before halfway through my career. And we trained for it for 6 months. We had about 25 of us get together. We had a full-time strength and conditioning coach came in, and it looked, minus the steroids, it looked like that scene from Rocky IV when he's fighting Dolph Lundgren. We were taking blood on the treadmills. We had O2, I mean, the entire thing for 6 straight months, running, swimming, the diet, everything we wanted to do. He put us through like little guinea pigs. Every single physical test we wanted to be able to do, we were hitting those numbers, all the timed runs, the timed swims, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, bench press, everything. Everything you wanted to hit, every single person were hitting their numbers, and we lived that thing for 6 straight months. When you came out of it, I mean, the only thing that upset everybody is that you knew you couldn't maintain it. You basically peaked for the selection course, and you're like, all right, everybody take a selfie because you're never going to be like this again. Mm-hmm. And that's the honest truth. It's so hard to maintain that because you have to be so good at so many other things, and you kind of just got to make yourself as well-rounded as possible. So once you get there, you try not to peak. You try just to maintain a really high average, and you round that out really through experience. You take the 25 dudes close to you, if you all do the exact same events, whereas everybody kind of stack out, and you just try to be 5% better than that. Now I'm setting the pace. And now I'm on a gradual progression, and they're all doing the same thing with me. But yeah, I mean, really, really well-rounded. I look back at some of the numbers we were able to do back then, and there's no way I could do it now, but it was fun to do it while we were young, for sure. How does it feel to take a life? I think it really depends on the scenario. Some of them, when it's super reactionary, it scares the death out of you and you barely survive it. There's a huge adrenaline dump, and then it all drops down, hands really, really shaky, a full cortisol dump. And other times there's no feeling at all, like not a bit. And it makes you feel weird at first. And when you realize that this is just the game you play, you can't get all wrapped up in it. You can't wrap too much human emotion around it, or it'll make you second guess at the moment. And you just can't. You train the way you train, the exact way you're gonna do it in reality, and trying to get too connected to it. But it's hard for a lot of it. Like, the human aspect can't be ignored, and I think that's the hardest thing for me. And I think the guys who are in the early GWAT will say it, especially for me. I was super young. I mean, I was running around Baghdad at 19 years old. And one of the things that stuck with me the most about not really taking a life, but seeing the human aspect on the backside, is having to walk the family past them, and that's their dad. They feel the same way about him as I do about mine, same way you do about yours. And that's a human element you just can't get around. Like, they freak and they start bawling and they look at you and it's like, oh my God, I did that. And then it gets really weird when they're just old enough to watch that turn to hatred. And you can see it in their eyes. They look at that, they look right at you, and it just dials up. Oh, buddy, I didn't want to do that, dude. I didn't at all. Like, I'm a human too, but if I don't, he's gonna shoot me. And they don't care if he's a terrorist, they don't care if he has a suicide vest on, they don't care. Now they hate you. And a lot of that, it weighs on you, depending on the scenario, how old they are. That one weighs on you.
And you were so young when you first went out, yeah.
Just a baby.
Yeah.
How quickly do you take out everyone in this room? From my position now, 7 seconds. I'm gonna flip the table, I'm gonna run that way so you can't get out of the door, and I'm gonna comb you all back over here. Yeah. I'm gonna just funnel everybody into one corner and, yeah. No, I wouldn't do that. What's the most horrific thing you've seen? I think most people, when you would characterize horrific, it would be something bloody, gory, something just your eyes can't unsee. And I've definitely seen a lot of that. When I see this question, I don't think about any of that. I think the most horrific thing that I've seen, I'm gonna try not to get emotional with this one. So like I said, I grew up in and around the SEAL teams, and I was very much an idealist. And when I first checked in, there are some polarizing figures inside of those organizations that you cannot help but fall in love with. You look up to them and you see them as a big brother, as a stepfather, as a father, because I was very, very young. And there were a couple dudes in that team that I absolutely worshiped. And one of those guys was in our kind of a sister platoon in 2005, and the rest of his platoon was killed in Operation Red Wings. Marcus Luttrell and the whole lone survivor, they were on the helo, he was on the other helo. Our next deployment, he got with me, and we were in a really gnarly firefight together, and he got shot multiple times, and he pulled one of the most heroic moves I've ever seen in my entire life. Shot multiple times, running forward against a barricaded shooter, and is dragging back a wounded teammate, getting shot again, getting back up, grabbing him again, dragging him back, getting shot again, grabbing him, dragging him back. And we eventually got him all behind this tire, and he'd been shot through the humerus bone. It shattered it and blew out his brachial artery, and his arm had flipped over around his shoulder, and he thought it was gone. And we're trying to navigate putting a tourniquet on this. We're still under crazy fire. And, you know, I end up stopping the bleeding, but he has lost so much blood. We finally end the firefight, and we get him inside the helo. We start working on him more, finding more gunshot wounds. And we have a guy shot in the face, another guy shot in the leg. Multiple guys are shot, and the whole back of that helicopter looked like the scene from Black Hawk Down, when he said you should probably wash the blood out of the Humvees. That's what it looked like. Just magazines and bullets and carbines and blowout kits and tourniquets, and just my friends shot to pieces laying at my feet. And the dude that I'm working on is one of the dudes that was my absolute idol. And it's the weirdest thing to work on a buddy that you've known for years, that you truly, truly love, and to not think you've done it right, and to hold him as they're loading him onto a stretcher and think that Superman is dying in your arms. It is something that you cannot ever get past. I remember kissing him on the forehead and sliding him off that gurney, and they pulled him away. I thought I'd never see him again. I would have bet my entire life savings he was gonna die right then, right there. And because I'm an idealist and because I grew up in this community, I never thought that would happen to me. Not the dude that I worshipped, not my demigod. It ain't gonna happen to me. And when it did, it was a shock of reality that I have never gotten past. It reset my entire baseline, and it showed me that it doesn't matter who you are, how good you are, how well you're trained. If it has your number, it has your number. And I am so thankful that the tourniquet went on right. It did stop the bleeding, and he is about this close from not making it. And they get him a blood transfusion just in time, pulls through, has his surgeries. He was just at my house a couple weeks ago, and that scene, that whole experience is something that sets with me, that I compartmentalize and I pack it way down deep. And when I need an ounce of humility, I draw it out and I look at it. That moment in time was the moment I felt the most vulnerable in my entire life. I felt completely exposed, and I felt like I'd been living a lie. Like, by going to this selection course and wearing this on my uniform and joining this organization, that would never happen to me because we're too highly trained. It's just not the case. We're all human. Put our pants one leg at a time. And that was definitely the most horrific thing that I've seen, just because the unconditional love I had for that guy and the fact that it happened at my feet. And I think about it probably more often than I should. Are you scared of sharks? I don't like sharks for sure, but just like anything in special operations, if they say do it, you're just gonna do it blindly. I've been forced into some weird scenarios. Sharks have definitely been involved. And it's just one of those things, like, you just see everybody doing it. I know it rings back to what your mom said. If all your friends jump off a bridge, you gonna do it too? Yep, as long as the first one waves once he hits the water. And they did, so we all did it. I mean, we did one, we jumped in Australia, and that was one of the sketchiest things I've ever done. Australia has a lot of great white sharks.